What's going on, guys? As you can probably tell by the thumbnail and the title of this video, today we're going to be examining the hypothetical child of Izuku Midoryia and Ochaco Uraraka. I actually made this character up for a totally different idea I'm working on about who could be the 10th user of One For All, but as I began to flesh her quirk out in my head, I realized she was probably worthy of having her own quick video. This is the first time I've done a totally original character before, so make sure you smash that like button if this is something you would like to see more of. Also, a quick update, I now have new emotes on the YouTube channel, which can be used in the comments of my videos whether you're on mobile or desktop. My favorite one is probably the Deku crying one, or the one of me reading manga. But yeah, you can get access to these by just hitting the join button on my channel and becoming a member. You'll be supporting me personally if you do, and once more people join, then I can start adding new emojis almost immediately. Okay, so I decided to call this character Nori Uraraka, which is a bit of a tongue twister to say out loud. And the sensible reason she didn't take Midoriya's last name was for safety reasons, and I'll elaborate on that more in the next video about this. The name Nori is a respectful reference to All Might, whose real name was Toshinori Yagi. I personally do not see any future in which Deku has children and doesn't name at least one of them after All Might in some way. It just has to happen. Anyway, she is technically the oldest child of Deku's family, as she was born 15 minutes before her twin brother. Due to the power of One For All being public knowledge in the future, Nori had a very protective and private upbringing, with her existence as the daughter of the #1 hero being mostly unknown. In the future, the threat of the quirk singularity is very real, and quirks are becoming more and more uncontrollable. Despite that, the luxury of proper quirk training is still only given to those who want to be heroes. After Nori had a serious accident involving her power, Deku decided that she had to go to UA in order to get the correct training and avoid being a danger to society. Just before we get into her quirk, I should mention that she carries around this hyper-density seal as a support item, and we've previously seen these used by Sir Nightai in the past, but we'll get into how Nori uses this once we explain her ability. Her quirk is called Gravity Shift, and it has clear elements of her mother's zero gravity power and her grandmother's telekinetic ability. To begin, Nori can use telekinesis to attract people or objects towards her with varying degrees of speed. Small objects like a spoon could be drawn towards her in seconds, whereas heavy objects like people or cars would be attracted in a much more slow and controlled manner depending on the weight. Her maximum limit is 4 tons, and if she was to pull anything heavier than that, then you guessed it. The telekinetic pull works over a very long range. As long as she can see something, she can pull it towards her. But the downside is that, like I said, she has to see it first. She couldn't pull something on the other side of a concrete wall because she can't see through it, whereas she could pull something through a window as long as that object or person remains visible to her. The other drawback is that her telekinesis can be stopped completely if she takes enough damage. This is similar to how Seji's quirk operates, in that his victims can't escape until he takes one too many hits. Moving on, once something is within touching distance, then the pads on Nori's fingers come into play, which is when she can activate her true powers. After making contact with any of her fingertips, she can manipulate the intensity of gravity on a particular thing. Purely as an example, if she was to touch Inusa with one of her fingers, she could decide to multiply the gravitational pull on his head to a higher intensity than usual. In this example, let's say she multiplies the effect of gravity by 100 times. This would result in his head violently slamming into the ground and, possibly killing him. She wouldn't go this far, but it just shows you how scary the power could be. Another application might be multiplying the gravitational pull on someone's feet, until they have no choice but to start moving around like this. Or you could use it on a vehicle to stop someone from escaping. She could easily restrain a person for 20 minutes with no problem, whereas if she was to restrain a vehicle, like I said, that would take a lot more effort and she would start to feel sick a lot quicker. Similar to Ochaco, Nori could dial back the effects of her quirk and decide to nullify gravity instead, which causes weightlessness and allows things to float. The effect only wears off if she decides to press her fingertips together, and her current weight limit when doing this is 4 tons. Talking about support items now, Nori carries this high density seal which weighs 5 kilograms in total. By throwing this item at the correct angle, she can activate Gravity Shift just as it leaves her fingertips, which will cause the seal to hit someone with increased momentum, and because of the effect of gravity, the weight begins to increase until it can floor someone completely. As a result, when you take everything into account, she does have a lot of options. She can pull people towards her from a distance, and then when she touches that person, she can make them float or she can restrain them with intense gravity. She can also turn her support item from a small weight into a killing machine, and she can use her telekinesis to call it back like Thor's hammer. One thing I forgot to mention was that she can use the floating ability on herself, so if she touches her own body then she can float just like Ochaco does. I think that she can float easier without throwing up straight away, but eventually, if she does it for long enough, she will throw up. Hopefully this video was a good introduction to this character, and make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss my upcoming video, and it will be in a similar style to my previous next generation videos. Remember, you can become a member and support the channel just by going on your laptop or computer and then clicking the join button. By doing this, you are not only supporting me, but you get access to exclusive posts for members only in the community tab, and obviously the emojis, which you can use in the comments of any one of my videos. Be sure to check it out, and until the next one, peace out.